welcome back. Here's another look through some of my old sketchbooks. I would be about 15. These videos are going to be a bit of a time capsule, which I realized while making the last video. I do have to say that I recently burnt my finger, so that is why it looks a little rough. Second, if you're able to hear construction in the background, I'm sorry for that also. Alright, let's move into the video. Just a warning. There are going to be a lot of parts that are censored or blurred. That is for a multitude of reasons. Some of it is anatomy practice. I also have some personal information and personal names from people in my life. These sketchbooks range from 2017 to 2018. They are not dated super clearly or are number ordered, so I had to do some guessing. Some of them might as well have been undated. I really thought that I was dating them well enough at the time, but unfortunately, that is not the case. This video is also going to be a bit longer than the other one, but I thought having as much of 2017 in one go would be interesting. I'll also note that some of these are being completed alongside of each other. I know at times I was working on at least 2 sketchbooks at a time. I graduate to using some Copic markers as well as colored pencils in these. I started with mostly pencil and occasionally something else. This book occasionally touching on Zentangle, which does grow to be a super prominent part of my sketchbooks. Another thing that pops up often in my sketchbooks are mythological creatures like fairies, vampires, and mermaids, sometimes even demon-like creatures. I'm really interested in them. It was common though because I had been spending a good amount of time watching shows like Supernatural and reading books like Percy Jackson and Harry Potter. This is the Zentangle Heavy sketchbook. I really wanted to make it into a collection of well-done images, compiling quotes or pieces of writings that I felt spoke to me. Zentangle is really cool. It is basically a mindful use of patterns, creating objects that don't exist in real life, using only pencil and black pen or marker. Still using references to create some images. The internal struggle with my heightened emotions is also very consistent throughout it. Eventually, I thought it might be kind of cool to try and make a scene out of Zentangle designs. I know at one point I did at least one mermaid drawing for Mermay. Some characters in a book I was reading at the time were described so interestingly that I decided to give it a shot. And more characters that I'd made with some of my friends. Pretty consistently from now on, I will just be blurring some things for privacy's sake. It had sort of turned into a small diary, but I was incorporating writings done by a good friend into the overall design of my sketchbook. Gender-bending characters from Harry Potter had gone really well. I was starting to get pretty comfortable with the bust shot of characters and the style that I was developing. It's sort of funny. A pretty common theme is where every two that I did, one was quite good while the other one was pretty strange looking. I really liked all of the designs I was finding on the internet for Harry Potter at the time as well. I was super excited about potentially recreating their father's monster journal from the show. I did a few things, but decided I would rather fill it on my own. Zentangle and doodles really overtake and are paired with writings. Sometimes bringing color into the doodles with paint. Mostly just messing around and seeing what felt right to me, trying to figure out what mediums I like to use. Polyjuice Potion from Harry Potter piqued my interest because being able to spend time as another person seemed really appealing at the time. Another good friend of mine ended up being someone I met during yearbook in my sophomore year of high school. Yearbook was generally for the upperclassmen, but they were really needing people to join. Every year I'd ask the counselor if I could have as many art classes as possible. Somehow a lot of my friends managed to do some sort of artwork upside down. It's happened a couple of times now. Dandelion Mines was a little thing. It was fun to try to find and create some sort of design that would fit the theme. Then I start getting more confident in my work, causing me to attempt an art project that was for one of my classes. It seems to be for an English class, and it was about Annabel Lee by Edgar Allan Poe. Later on, I would like to make a video on my thumbnail process with more current works. During my college courses, I really ironed down my thumbnailing abilities. There was a time where I was letting my younger cousins draw on my sketchbooks also. There were some things that happened where we ended up spending a couple of different instances with each other in a year span. In this last book, it seems to go back to messing around, not making finished works, nor making a ton of notable progress, it feels like. I couldn't help but continue to fill the whole pages or swatch all of my possible tools. It seems that my yearbook class had gotten a bit intense for me. I was feeling like I needed to be better at it than I was, but it was my first time ever doing anything like that. It was a really cool experience that I will never forget, even if I cringe when I go back to look at the pages that I did. I was heavily watching YouTube and decided to try to find houseplants that I could draw. Some I was imagining as different YouTubers and what they would be as houseplants. My friend was creating characters, and I thought designs of their names would be pretty cool. I ended up recreating a previous drawing to see how much progress I'd made. Drawing bust images seemed to develop even further. I had asked my friends if I could draw their characters, and started to make some more fantasy-like designs of my own. That way I could just add them in later. This one of a sci-fi-like character was really fun to create. That flower was a big part of me for a little while. It came about when I was doing some sort of school project, I think. I started getting asked to draw peers quite often. This is one that I did, and I still think it looks pretty cool. Seeing all of this Zentangle is making me want to go back and start doing it again. I feel like my sketchbooks were more than that to me. They were a safe place where I could do whatever I wanted, even if I wasn't just drawing. It looks like there was quite a bit of time that I wasn't adding to this sketchbook. That was pretty consistent. I've always had issues finishing things. That applied to other interests like reading and shows as well. I was requested to draw that dragon, but I ended up being so happy with it that I just kept it. It was also my first time using toned paper. In the end of the sketchbook, it turned into a bit of a scrapbook. I was adding some things I did on loose paper to make sure that I would be able to keep it safe. Copic markers and watercolor were being experimented with also. My friend had drawn some characters from a comic I was working on. You'll see that in the next video. I started to get super interested in koi fish. I did a project of one for school. I think I had also started dabbling in watercolor at the time. A lot of types of painting started my journey as a little kid, and it is still something that I have a passion for now. Fonts make another appearance here. It was really fun to look into the different types of graffiti. I know we are sort of racing through these sketchbooks, but it is a cool way to show my progress as an artist. There are still more sketchbooks that we can look through together, but doing a bundle of them at a time works well to be able to see the big differences from the beginning to the end of the video. Thank you for joining me again, and I hope to see you guys soon. Bye!